And stand, and we're going to say the prayer. Dear Lord, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Section, the first public comment just pertains to anything that's listed on the agenda. So if you want up to 3 minutes for speaking, and it is about the agenda.
Kim Kingery. I live at 212 South Elm Street. I think that keep it and do what needs to be done. I would rather all of the money that was put in by the private citizens. We are so close to not having that designation anymore, location on Water Street, down to registry. So having said that, we're so close to thing that truly belongs to the people. We're supposed to be good stewards, LG status. We may need that grant money moving forward, but it's sitting there now with no HVAC in it. Or kick the can down the road one more time and let's have a bigger discussion.
My name is Lisa Prakash, and I live on Sabbath. We need restrooms downtown. We just tourists coming into their shops and into the restaurant about that. I grew up here. My family owns commercial property on Front Street, and I knew Tucker Littleton. He was a quirky, eccentric, brilliant man who very rarely wore shoes. And he just knew everybody. He knew so much history about the town. And we don't have Tucker Littletons anymore. So if his legacy that's left is that house, we need to keep it intact. At one time, John Davis talked about selling it. I hope that's not on the table anymore. But in fact, I'm not sure you can even sell it. I don't know how the paperwork reads, but I don't think it's ours to sell. It was donated. So that's the one thing. So we want to get that open again. And as far as money spent, I know there were grants that were received to fix that building up. I'm not sure how much. And if, when you all speak, you could give the public a little background about that house. And we put showers in it at one time for boaters. I mean, we made some changes. I don't know if they were premature, but money was spent to take out one of the toilets and put it in a bathroom. So now I think we're left with one toilet. So that's one thing I would hope that you would address to the public tonight. And lastly, as far as the guns allowed in the town hall, you know, this is Swansboro, population 4,000. We're not in Chicago. We're not in New York. We're not in Saginaw, Michigan, which is where I lived, very highly violent and criminal place of activity. This is Swansboro. We could put in a panic button. I think that's reasonable, and maybe metal detectors. But, you know, I've seen a lot of people walking around town with gun holsters, private citizens, and it's frightening to me that I'm seeing more of this and more of this in public. And it's scary. And is that the kind of image we want to give off to the kids? You know, hey, carry a gun, you need a gun because our police officers can't do what they're supposed to do. I don't like that idea at all. So I'm absolutely opposed to guns in the town hall. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so next we have Mr. Wayne Herbert. If you state your name and address, you can, that one over there if you'd like. Yep.
Again, Wayne Herbert, 102 Oyster Bay Road. Thanks for the opportunity to speak this evening. I wanted to make some brief comments also about the possible allowance for weapons here at the town hall. As someone who supports the Second Amendment and have exercised my rights under it, I most certainly believe in my right to protect myself and my family within my home. With that said, as the town considers this measure, I recommend a deliberate approach and examine 3 sources of information to make a very informed decision. First, turn to our local law enforcement and ask them, what do you think? I know you already have a persistent presence at the town hall meetings. Is this change a good idea for our town hall and our community? Are people not coming to the town hall because they don't feel safe, or is there some credible threat that necessitates this course of action? In your expert opinion, are you going to dissuade people from possibly visiting the town hall if this is enacted, as some people are simply just not comfortable around firearms? Before you vote on this, I would ask that you please give the commissioners your professional opinion. Secondly, to our town attorney, the same question. What do you think? The agenda packet had a single statement about, quote, reasonable regulations such as prohibiting or allowing weapons with appropriate measures are legally permissible. So again, what do you really think? What is the legal liability if, God forbid, we had some type of incident at the town hall where a weapon was discharged purposely or accidentally, what I've seen in my career in the Marine Corps, and someone was injured? And again, before this is voted on, I'd ask for your legal advice to the commissioners. Please provide that to them. And lastly, some quick research for just a point of reference and commonality in our local community. It indicates Cedar Point does allow this, but conversely, the Onslow County government, City of Jacksonville, the towns of Cape Carteret, Emerald Isle, Newport, Richlands, Maysville do not. I'd recommend speaking with some of those municipalities to gain their perspective and any lessons they have potentially learned. I think we all can agree that it's paramount to maintain an environment of personal safety and level of comfort for all our town employees and the citizens of Swansboro who work at and visit their town hall. While citizens can choose other different venues, restaurants, places of business to visit, to shop based on their preference for this type of allowance, our citizens don't have that option because we only have one single town hall. I certainly believe we don't want to create a town hall environment that discourages visiting and participation. So again, give it a thorough assessment by leveraging the expertise we have in the town, and specifically in this room tonight. And look to those other municipalities to, again, maybe gain their best practices and make a sound decision for, again, the people of Swansboro. Not for any personal agendas, but please, again, for the people of Swansboro. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you, Wayne. Okay, next we have Miss Laura Thompson. I saw you. Oh, come on. You're used to talking to people. Uh-oh. Hey, get ready for preaching.
Pastor at Swansboro United Methodist Church.
And your address, please.
I have great faith in our fire chief and their ability to protect our town. I think we have leaders for a reason, and I am against having firearms in the town hall.
Okay. And your address, please, ma'am.
613 West Russell Street.
All right, thank you. And thanks for stepping up. Martha Oyen. And your name and address, please, ma'am.
Martha Oyen, 204 Wild Oak Drive, and I'm here representing the Seaside Arts Council. And we have very concerned about the visitor center, and we definitely need toilets in the downtown area. During our Swan Fest concerts, we have 300 to 500 people every Sunday night, and there has to be somewhere. The businesses do not want people coming in that are not customers off the street. So it really needs to have some kind of public area. There's restrooms available, and I would hate to have to see you go to putting up porta potties, which would be horribly ugly. So I hope you can find a way to keep it. And also people shopping. I was downtown in one of the stores on Front Street this week, and 2 ladies who were tourists who were shopping in there, and they're saying, "Oh, we need to use the restroom. Where can we do?" You know, people are saying, "Oh, you have to go down to the tourist center." Well, I don't want to say that. Tell them that wasn't going to work, but people other than. Definitely we need them on Sunday nights, but people just need access, public access to a restroom in the downtown area. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Jamie Patani, how you doing? Good. You're good. Your name and address, please.
Jamie Patani, 2102 Holly Hill Court. I'm here all the time. Y'all know me. I think you're great people, but you can't sell the visitor center. There's no bathrooms downtown. I'm an older woman. I need a bathroom. I need it now. Have you tried to go to the bathroom in any of the downtown businesses? It's not going to happen. They're nice, but they can't let 40 people in at a time. The visitor center, I feel like you guys don't own it. We do. It's Swansboro's. You might own our assets, but that house, Tucker Littleton, I so wish I could go back and bring him. He was an amazing guy. He was smarter. He was probably one of the smartest people I knew. He knew everything around here. And that house, he would be so proud. Keep it. And that's all I can say right now, because the other things I wanted to bring up, I can't, because it's not on the agenda. But we will. It'll get back there.
You can do it in the second comment if you want to hang
But
around.
I haven't eaten dinner. And I got Chinese. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. All right, I noticed a couple of people came in late, so I'm going to make a little exception. Is anybody that came in after we started that wants to speak? Just state your name and address, please. We all know who you are, but still for the record.
Randy Swanson, 108 West Corbett, I think is the address I'll use today. That visitor center, yeah, staunchly enough, man, that is so valuable to Swansboro. And the other point that wasn't being made to the transient boaters, we all talk about parking, but we're missing out on the boaters that don't use the parking, but there are customers, visitors potentially as well. And I think that's really a good point, is to have a spot where boaters can moor overnight, grab anchorage, but to have a visitor center down there it's just the right thing. And I was clapping because as you get older, you got to run for the head. Anyway, thank you, commissioners.
All right, thank you. Anyone else that came in afterwards? Okay. All right, so we finished with the public comment for the first section, and we're going to go to the adoption of agenda and consent items. We are going to have, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not see. I apologize, Mr. Schuler. Come up if you would, please, and state your name and address, please.
Bob Schuler, 20 Front Street. We got here a little bit late, so I didn't, I'm not quite sure whether this is the right place during the process of meeting. But I did want to speak about the toilets in the downtown area. Is that appropriate now?
The what, sir?
The toilets in the
Yes, sir.
downtown?
The visitor center?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Many years ago, as an architect, I was brought in to evaluate a means for providing public handicap access for the downtown area. And so the visitor center was the solution to that in order to provide that service. The problem with this whole issue is that if you do not have handicap accessible toilets to the downtown area, each store has to provide handicap toilets within their building. Now this was going to be a major effort for a lot of these small businesses. Number one, the buildings are small, as well as not having things accessible, because a handicapped toilet has to be of a larger size than a normal business toilet for staff for their own use. So providing something that was handicap accessible for the visitors was a key problem and was the whole issue for winding up with the visitor center the way it is now. Someone would have to clear this through the North Carolina Insurance Department, but if that building disappears, there may be a whole lot of, all the businesses may be scrambling to provide handicap access for their own patrons. And a lot of them can't do it. I mean, a lot of them, the buildings are so small, I'm not sure how many of them can actually do that. So this solution that we have presently seems to work, and I certainly would feel that it's absolutely necessary that we maintain handicap accessible toilets to the public in the downtown area, one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schuler. And I'd like to do a shout out to you and your wife, Ann. They just recently received the Sam Bland Award for contributing so many years to this town, and it's well deserved. So thank you. Okay, we're going to move to the adoption of the agenda and consent items, but we've got to amend it, this section, to remove item number 4B, which is the employee introduction and oath of office that Chief Taylor was going to do. So we're going to take that off, if that's acceptable with the board. Okay. So if I can get a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion carries. Okay, now we're going to move to, we don't have the fire department's not going to do anything, right? Okay. Okay. Oath of office. We're going to move to the oath of office for Ms. Tamara Karate, who was just appointed to fill the vacancy till the end of the year. So if Tamara and Tim, you want to come up, do you have something you'd like to take the oath of office on, or do we have the Bible over here? Tom, did you want to come up too? Do solemnly and sincerely swear
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States,
and the laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
and authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support,
that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of said state,
and the laws of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States, not inconsistent
with
the
the law-
Constitution of the
Constitution
United
of
States.
the United States,
Okay. To the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
and that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as Commissioner,
as Commissioner,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Sign there.
Oh, Lord. You didn't pull mine out. You didn't pull mine.
I didn't, Bill. You're right.
Okay, so we're going to move to recognition of Parks and Rec Program Supervisor. Oops, sorry.
All right, I'd like to invite Sarah Elliott to come on up. So Sarah Elliott, our Program and Event Manager for the Parks and Recreation Department, has recently received the National Recreation and Park Association Certified Park and Recreation Professional Certification, which is CPRP. The Certified Parks and Recreation Professional Certification is the national standard for all parks and recreation professionals who want to be at the forefront of their profession. Obtaining this certification shows that she has met education and experience qualifications and illustrates her commitment to the profession, as well as her knowledge and understanding of key concepts within Parks and Recreation. Ms. Elliott was hired last March of 2024. She holds a bachelor's degree in sports management from the University of Florida. Congratulations to Sarah on earning this prestigious certification. This is a remarkable achievement and highlights her dedication to excellence in the field of Parks and Recreation. As the program and event manager for the town of Swansboro Parks and Recreation, her commitment to her profession and continuous pursuit of knowledge will undoubtedly have a lasting impact on our community. We look forward to seeing the continued growth and success she will bring to the town. Well done, Sarah.
Sarah, if you'd come along and let us congratulate you. Do you have anything you'd like to say? What? I will say on her behalf as well, she does a lot of volunteer work, to a lot of military affairs events, the Halloweeny roast. I mean, there's all, you just name it. Her and Anna and the Recs department are out there working all the time and volunteering their time and their efforts, not just for town events, but also for other events that benefit our community. So thank you very much for that. Okay, now Mr. Barlow is going to talk about the Second Amendment for us.
Mayor, Board, thank you. As the title indicates, this is a continuation of discussion that the board had back in November of last year regarding the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution pertaining to the allowance, specifically relating to the allowance of weapons at Town Hall. At a request of the board, we brought this back to you for additional discussion. Just to aid in your discussion, we gave you a copy of the minutes about the conversation that the board had back in November. Thanks to the town attorney, he's provided you a summary of federal and state case laws pertaining to our ability to regulate weapons on municipal property. And then more specifically, we have a copy of the town ordinance, not just how it regulates concealed handguns in Town Hall, but how it regulates, how we regulate carrying of weapons on all our municipal property. With that said, it's open to you to give us guidance how you want us to proceed with this idea. Discussion.
So, do anybody want to make any comments on that?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
We've had this conversation, I don't know, for a year, really, since a little over a year, since the three of us got elected. My position has been for the longest time is the people that are comfortable that work here should be the deciding factor on that. I was wrong on that. I think, and I'm actually going to semi-double cross Doug here because I told him I could support with a contingency. But what I didn't realize is, more importantly, this is a people's house here, and that that y'all's feelings are just as important as the ones of people that work here. So I do think that that the removal of the Second Amendment sticker on the door, the do not carry sticker on the door, is not warranted at this time, but I think we need to have a bigger conversation about it, if that makes sense to you. So that's where I'm at, Doug.
So you just want to consider it more and discuss it?
We need to consider it, have a bigger discussion, maybe involve a few more people than just our small little group ourselves.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jay. Pat, did you have anything you'd like to?
Yeah, I think I've said it before that I don't agree with having guns in Town Hall, that I think it's more appropriate to have panic buttons. We do have a police department not far away. I just don't feel that in a town this small that we need to have people carrying guns in our town hall. And I've said that before and I'll say it again. So I don't agree with that.
All right, thanks, Pat. Jeff, would you like to make, Jeff, do you have any comments on it?
Yeah, I kind of the same mindset as Mr. Herbert was. I exercise my Second Amendment rights on a daily basis, but I also respect the fact when there are signs posted that says, you know, you're not allowed to have it here. Put it in my car, lock it up, do my business, go back out to my vehicle, and have it accessible if required. Kind of, the biggest thing that hit me was what happens to the staff if something were to occur, not necessarily during a meeting, during every day. And we brought some light to that about possibly having a panic button for the employees up front if somebody should come in and things happen. Thank goodness we recently had, thank goodness nothing happened, but you know, as a lot of us know, not too long ago across the street, there was an incident that happened. I'm kind of torn right now between it, with that on my mind. It's quite possible that that person could have walked across the street. Like I said, thank goodness that that did not happen. That's all I got for now.
All right. So Doug, you'd be next. You have comments?
All right. I did this on principle of defending the U.S. Constitution of the United States of America. I swore an oath to that Constitution, and I know that the Bill of Rights that was crafted in 1781 along with it said that these are unalienable rights. It means these rights never end. They don't end at a door. They don't end at a county. They don't end at a municipality. Unalienable rights in the Bill of Rights and the Second Amendment enshrined in those things mean something. It also means something when I took an oath for this office to defend the North Carolina Bill of Rights, to defend the North Carolina Constitution. And our town manager was pleased enough to list out those laws that says the policy that you currently have here that takes an employee's right to defend themselves away from them once they come to a place of work. I don't know any otherbody that an employer that I know of, unless some of the employers in your office or in the audience here, would take their employees' right to defend themselves away from them for the sheer fact that they come to work and they deal with the public every day. Now, I'm not. This is my time. So these are important principles. I stand this on principle. I stand this in the bounds of integrity and the oath I took both as an infantryman, and I've actually seen what one human can do to another. And now, you know something, evil doesn't stop at the county line. Evil doesn't stop at the town line municipality. And I can call out to you names of small towns, because I heard this tonight. This is Swansboro. Well, there's places like Uvalde, Newton, Connecticut, Douglas Stone down in Stuart, Florida. These were all small towns as well, where people thought this can't happen here. Well, if you do a little research and expose yourself to some truth out there, you're going to find out that in today's world, 1950 to 1975, mass shootings weren't all that common. At least the information out there wasn't available. But the Crime Prevention Research Center, which is run by John Lott, actually goes into depth and great fact and detail, which I've passed out here to the staff, so the staff can ask themselves a few questions here too. And since 1998, you'll notice that mass shootings have increased even more in places that have placards and advertise themselves as gun-free zones. Now, why do you think that is? It's because society has changed, and it is ever-changing. And here's what I will not allow myself to do, that I don't stand, if it ever happens, if one of our staff members were to fall prey to evil, I can honestly stand before everybody in this whole entire world and said, at least I tried to do something about it. And we had the discussion, and we made a decision. And I can live with whatever decision this board wants to make tonight. But there's one thing that I'm going to challenge you all. You took an oath to be consistent with the North Carolina Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. If you read the whole thing, you're going to find out it's an unalienable right there. That means given to you by who? I think we had a clergy person in the room today. God himself. And no government can take that right. And all I'm really fighting for is have each employee make the decision for themselves. I am an employee for you. But it doesn't mean that I surrender. My rights don't end where yours begin. I actually deserve the right to defend myself at any given time, no matter where I'm at. So I'm fighting for your rights. I'm fighting for everyone's rights here. Now I heard everything but facts tonight about this topic. Feelings. Evil doesn't care about your feelings. It never did. So in all my experiences and all what I know to do is right, this is the right thing to do. And I'm not saying you can keep your sticker if you want to keep your sticker. But if you draw a paycheck from this municipality, you deserve the right to choose. And with that, I yield.
Okay. Tamara, I know you're new to the board. Do you have anything you'd like to contribute and weigh in on? Okay.
So I did.
Slot it to you.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. Hate to start out on such a hot topic. And I understand where Doug's coming from. And I respect every. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can.
I respect the law and every person's right. But it is a touchy subject being in this building. And I feel like the staff has a mixed opinion on it. But they're the ones that are in this building every day. We come and go. They need to be comfortable. So I feel like we leave it to them.
Okay, thank you, Tamara. So, you know, I'm going to weigh in on this as well. I support the Second Amendment 100%. I have many, many guns. I have a gun safe, so if you break in my house, please wait so I can get my gun safe so I can shoot you before I call Chief Taylor. But we have our granddaughter over all the time, so I keep the guns locked up. I handle them responsibly. And I believe in the right for people to have their guns, but there are certain places where I think the access needs to be limited. And if I remember the statute correctly, and I could be wrong on it, one of them is government buildings, churches, and schools. Okay, okay, it's my time to talk right now. Okay, so please yield. Okay, all right, it's my time to talk. I gave you yours. So I'm 100% not for having it in town hall, and that comes from talking to all the phone calls that I fielded today from the citizens, which I represent.
So they do call.
Yeah, and I realize I don't have a vote, but I do have my opportunity to speak. So I'm not for it, and I understand and I respect Doug's opinion wholeheartedly, and I know what he's done for this country. I just don't know that this is the thing to do to have it in here. I know that the staff's kind of mixed feelings on it, and the citizens are 100% against it. So my opinion is I don't think we need to allow open carry in the town hall. If somebody's going to bring a gun in, they're going to bring a gun in. But at the same time, it might be a little harder for them to get to than just pulling it off the hip. We've got Chief Taylor over there and Chief Randall, and we've got Tank. So we've got some qualified people over there to help take care of us. So that's just my opinion on it. So, yeah, you'd like to go ahead?
I'm just going to rebut one or two things you said, Bill.
That's fine.
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to argue for here. I'm saying I'm not willing to limit the rights of the people that work here. I'm not willing to take away a God-given unalienable right from them. Every employee should have that benefit to choose. What you do with the public is up to you. You know, they have a set of rules that says, and nowhere in these statutes does it say a municipality can limit the right to concealed carry. And if that's the consistency, then every citizen has the right to concealed carry anywhere, with the exception of schools and it doesn't say anything about churches, I believe. All right, so you kind of misnomered that one, but I'm just gonna. You can read them right here.
Yeah, I've read
for
it.
public record.
Yeah.
There are some limited places, yes, which are inconsistent with the U.S. Constitution and Heller. I get those things, but like I said before, I don't think, and God help me if anything ever happened to you guys here during the normal course of working hours, because Chief is a 911 call away, but the 911 dispatch goes where, Chief? Onslow County first, right? And then you get a call from Onslow County dispatcher down here. And then you've got to make it across that parking lot. And I'm just doing the clock in my head, and that's about best hope if you got somebody over there that can be dispatched, maybe 4 or 5 minutes go by. 4 or 5 minutes is a long time. And police officers always get on scene, guys, after the fact. These are facts. I'm talking to you straight, and I'm talking to you with hard truth because I love my citizens, and I feel you deserve the truth and the hard facts of life. The same way my parents gave me the facts, and I hope you give me the hard facts too when you come up and stand in public comment. But these are facts. They're not feelings. And we each have to weigh those facts as an adult, and we have to act as an adult, and we have to take action when we see something is not right. It doesn't stand in concert with the Constitution. It doesn't stand in concert with who we are as U.S. citizens in the Bill of Rights. So if you don't think it can happen here, God bless you. But I will tell you one thing, guys. I will do everything in my power to make sure you have every right afforded you and every resource afforded you. If that includes training, it includes training if you want it. If it includes some options laid out by the town manager, I think are listed in tonight's agenda. Do we currently have a button, what do you call it, a chaos button or whatever else? That goes directly over to the chief and the dispatch instead of the call going to 911?
That was one of the items that came out of your discussion in November, was for us to follow up on what we could do as far as installing a panic button at Town Hall. The board did approve us using ARP funds to acquire that. We tasked the police chief with that question of if he could find a source for it. He did. We just have not had it installed yet, but we did find it a local vendor.
So you've got something in progress right now?
Yes.
Okay, and that'll at least get the response time down. That's a step in the right direction. If you ask for some of the staff, they can provide you the copies I printed off for the staff and the board commissioners tonight. It's got every case in there, and they need an Excel spreadsheet file that tells you things like what the response times were, what the statistics were in each case. Nothing I have misconstrued here tonight. These are the facts. The police will always be there after the fact. I just want you guys to know, and I'll be able to look you square in the eye from now to the day I die. I will never take a right from anybody. And I will never take an unalienable right from anybody.
Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to discuss it more, review and discuss? Go ahead, Jeff, what would you like?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to get the chief's comments about this.
Okay, you want to call him up? Is that what you're saying now? Yep. Thank you, Chief.
Which would you like a comment on? What, my take on it?
Yep.
As far as having staff at town hall armed?
The sign, staff
Oh.
have,
Yeah, the sign, I would keep the sign. as far as arming the staff, you're going to run into a lot of civil liabilities. I mean, yeah, it's their right to carry a firearm, but then if you start arming your town employees inside a town hall, how are you going to regulate that? How are you going to keep somebody from accidentally shooting somebody else? You're going to run into civil liabilities if somebody starts causing disturbance at the front counter if they've not had any training in how to de-escalate or the use of force continuum. What happens if they just pull the gun out and shoot somebody? You know, we as officers, we're regulated by the state. Every year we have to go through a 4-hour class for in-service training on firearms and then qualify. That's at least once a year. We try to get them out to the range at least once or twice other than that time as well. So you have to run into you're going to run into those things. You know, how are you going to do that with your staff if you arm them?
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. You got a question? Okay.
Yeah. Chief, I would agree with you on it. You know, when does the town employee carrying a weapon in town hall become the protector of town hall and assume those responsibilities? You know, you call it self-protection, but, you know, if somebody who has a concealed carry permit, or even if they're carrying open and somebody comes in and somebody shoots them and they don't understand the intent. You know, one of the first things they told me in my concealed carry permit is expect to be arrested if you exercise your Second Amendment right, right, to self-protect. You know, so, I mean, Doug, I know you've probably been in these situations. I've been in situations where you have a gun in your hand and you don't know what to do. You pull the trigger, you don't. So, am I going to put that weight on all these people? I'm not going.
Yeah, and one final thing I want to bring up. So I come from the business sector, and I know it was a rule that you cannot, I know it's the Second Amendment, but you cannot bring a firearm onto the premise of the business. You could not. And I was in the business sector for 42 years, and I saw that consistently for 42 years. You could not, as an employee, bring a gun or a weapon onto the premises. And then that falls back to how trained are the individuals that are carrying that gun. You can get a concealed carry, you can have an open carry, you can get a gun, but how trained is that individual to exercise? And you guys go through rigorous training to determine the threat, you know, that's out there, assess the threat. And so I don't know that the average citizen has that training to exercise that in a split hair of a moment. And that's just my opinion on it. Do we want to go to a vote for it tonight, or do you want to consider it a little bit more? What would y'all just review and discuss it a little bit more?
If you decided to take it to a vote, know that you stand on one side or the other. One who is willing to preserve the Constitution, the Bill of Rights as it exists, as it's written, or one that's willing to take the rights of other citizens that have been blessed by the God we pray to here every night that we meet, with an unalienable right to self-defense. You can't control human behavior. You can't predict the future. Don't pretend you can. What you can do is you can bless your citizens with the rights they were born with, or you can decide to take them away. But maybe you have some more looking in the mirror to do before you make this decision, but know when you make that decision, it will have an impact in one way or another.
I just need a recommendation from the board if you want to review it and discuss it a little bit more. Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
John, so if I understand this, we do have a general statute that prohibits handguns on town-owned property, correct? It's on the very last sentence.
Yes.
On carrying concealed handguns. So I understand what you're saying, Doug, constitutional rights, but there is a general statute that prohibits it. And I would agree with you, Mr. Mayor, that most companies prohibit carrying handguns as an employee. Honestly, I don't think we have to discuss it anymore. I think we've all said what we feel.
Yeah. So do you want to bring it to a vote or?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion then?
I have a motion that we have a vote on the removal of the restriction on handguns or weapons in town hall. Is that properly worded, Raz?
So you want to limit the allowing of.
I want to maintain the
weapons on-
status quo right now of what we have.
Okay. Speak out in microphone. Okay.
I make a motion, we maintain the status quo on, for weapons in town hall.
To leave the ordinance as it is written. To leave the ordinance as it is written.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Mr. Brown to leave the ordinance as it's written. Do I have a second?
I think Pat seconded.
Pat.
Okay, all right, a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so it passes 4-1. So we'll leave it like it is then, I guess, at the present time. Yep. All right, we're still continuing with Mr. Barlow and the Visitor Center, discussion. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a continuation of a discussion we've had several times over the last, several months regarding the visitor center. Back in September, we made the decision that we needed to close the visitor center until we could further investigate a mold condition that we had noticed. Thanks to Tank and his public works crew, they were able to remove cabinets and drywall of the most affected areas, but obviously we did not have the expertise or the ability to do what was necessary to remediate the problem. We brought in a professional firm, Green Home Solutions. That's what they do, specialize in mold restoration. I believe Ms. Kingery helped us source that contractor. He did perform the work at a cost of $6,300 to remediate the mold in the specific areas where we had noticed extensive mold, drywall, insulation, floor insulation, and ceiling, kitchen. One item that is not done yet that they recommended us to do in their assessment was to completely replace the HVAC, the unit, and the ductwork. I believe Tank has a quote on that for about $7,300, and he should be doing that work in the next week or two. Is that correct, Tank? Yeah, okay. So once the point of the discussion is twofold. One, to bring you up to date on where we are in remediating the problem, and two is once we finish this remediation, we're at a stopping point. And to hope to get additional guidance from the board where we want to go as far as the next step. Once we're at that point now, we need to make some decisions as far as how we're going to finish out the building. You recall that the board did purchase quite a bit of equipment, material to install bathrooms, showers, washer and dryer for the boating people that are stopping here overnight who have no facilities to use. So we're at that point now. Do we continue on with that work, or do we go another route? I don't, if the board wants to have additional discussion, but we're just at that point now. We finished the work, and we're just sort of in a holding pattern at the moment.
Okay, so do we have any questions for John? Anybody? Okay.
John, do you have at least 3 courses of action to offer up to us as broad guidance on, like, what 3 options do we have to exercise on this thing? Do you want to, option 1, where we restore the building and the structure and the bones and the foundation, and it's a solid building now, okay? And we leave it as such until we determine later in the future, which is kicking the can down the road, right? Option 2, we decide to put handicap accessible restrooms, more than 1 toilet, in there, because I don't think 1 toilet is really cutting it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree that
Okay.
probably.
The other one is,
We need more.
do we look for option 3, and I've talked to at least one citizen who'd be interested in maintaining the building and the structure and the historic outlook on this, and maybe leasing it from the town and keeping it as a laundromat head facility for the boating community to come in and out, or the public themselves. And that way, we get it off our plate as far as cost of upkeep and daily upkeep and cleaning and those kind of things. But I guess we'd still be on the dime for major repairs. Basically, those are kind of the three options I'm tossing around in my head, unless anyone's got anything else.
Go ahead.
Well, I know something that came to my mind, and I was actually approached by a few people about this idea, and pretty much make it, obviously you have restrooms in there. And the second thing would be possibly see if the Chamber of Commerce would be interested in being there. And it would basically be, you know, in my mind for it, I wouldn't say don't charge them rent, but just make them responsible for upkeep, daily upkeep. And that way there's somebody actually in the building keeping an eye on it, making sure it does, you know, something like this doesn't get out of hand again. And there's still some restrooms there for people to use downtown. So I'd be more on the lines of, just for Doug's options 1 and 2, more so than us getting rid of it completely and having someone else take the building.
Pat, would you like to weigh in on it?
Yeah, I think the chamber was there before, and then they moved. Part of the problem was they were only there 5 days a week. So I believe staff had to go in on the weekends and man it. So that is a possibility. I think we need to keep it. We need the restrooms. Swansboro doesn't need porta potties when we have festivals and stuff. That's not the look we want. So whatever we can do to keep it, and we need more than one bathroom now. We need a handicap bathroom and a regular bathroom, if not 2 more. So, you know, I'm in favor and support that we keep the visitor center. We do what we need to do.
Shammer, would you like? Yeah, you got to talk closer to it.
So one bathroom's not going to cut it.
No.
Kim, is there restrictions on bathrooms to keep the historic designation?
We only maintain exteriors. We don't care what goes on the inside.
I know there was an issue a few years back about the handicap ramp having to be moved from.
And that's why we did all of the renovations to the front. You know, the whole porch structure changed. It used to let out onto Church Street. I don't know if you remember, there were brick steps going up. We changed all the balusters, took away 2 parking spaces so that it had the front facade. We worked with the State Historic Preservation Office to make sure that it is contributing again. And then they went to the trouble of putting it back on the registry, so we have that property still in our inventory. So we don't care what happens on the inside. You could put 20 toilets in there.
Mayor, if I could.
We need staff to clean that. I think there's a lot of different options when it comes to the visitor center. I know there was some outrage about selling it, but I don't think that's necessary. It needs to pay for itself. It needs to function. 1 bathroom during Mullet Festival, guess what? We have to have the porta potties. So I think we just look and see what the best options are for it so that we can maintain the historic designation on it. But we could possibly lease it to someone else and put our bathrooms somewhere else. There's other properties that we're also putting money and taxpayer money out on.
Mayor, I think it'd be good now.
Hold on a second.
Tank's got a lot of knowledge about the little bit of history, what we've done with that building, specifically
go
since
ahead. Yeah.
Hurricane Florence. He's been an active part of all of it. and to give you an idea of what the design was going to look like if it was going to be for a transient boater setup.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me kind of clarify some things. When Florence hit in September of 18, I believe, the visitor center was really, really hit bad. The roof leaked, the entire inside it was just a mess. And so during that time, the town had, and I was just on the crew at that time, just doing what I was told, but the town had partnered with FEMA. There was a company that came in to do all the restoration for all the public buildings that had suffered some type of damage. About 2 months into it, that company was let go because they were filing fraudulent claims what they were doing here. So we took over the job of restoring the buildings. The visitor center was one of those that we took over the job at the time. The director, public works director, was also a licensed general contractor, so we could work under him and do the work. What occurred was, after we found out about the mold and some other things, is that we, as the crew, did not properly do the restoration correctly. I only know what we were told to do at the time. I'm not a general contractor. I just know what we were told to do, and there were some things that were done incorrectly that contributed to the mold situation. The HVAC system should have been replaced then, and it wasn't because it's now almost 15 years old. It should have been replaced at that time, and it wasn't. Under the building itself, there were places where that needed to be sealed, where the outdoor environment could not just get into the building, which that was happening. There was a lot of things that were not done correctly. So most of the money that was spent on it at that time, though, came from the FEMA money that we were given to restore the building. So the town itself did not invest a lot of money into that process. After that, there was a little bit more damage done after the hurricane in 2019. And then Kim has referenced when they had to do some things to make sure that it met historical guidelines, and that was the front porch and the stairs and everything, because at one time we had the brick stairs in the front, and then there was a two-level ramp going up to the entrance so that handicap could get in there. Now there's one ramp in the back. That the two-layer ramp was taken away during the restoration after Florence, and there apparently, and I don't remember. I know I worked here when it was that way, but I think there were 2 bathrooms there before, and we reverted to 1 bathroom that has a commode and a urinal and a sink. And then there was a back area that had cabinets that storage things were put in. The other side of it was town hall. We had that was actually a visitor center, and they would rotate out during the week. Somebody at town hall would rotate out and sit there at that desk. So it was being monitored every day. It just wasn't the Chamber of Commerce, who did move out after Florence. And they did, in fact, lease that building from the town. I don't know what the monetary amount was, but I do know that they leased it from the town. So since that time, the mold situation came about. In 2022, when I became the director, I was almost immediately directed to buy all of the material that we would need to meet the engineer drawings of what they thought they wanted to do to that building. And that was to walk in the front door off of Water Street, and directly to your right would be the first room, which was a laundromat for the transient boaters. And then there would be a bathroom with a commode and a urinal and sink, all commercial grade, handicap accessible. After that would be 2 identical showers, handicap accessible, and then the last bathroom towards the rear of the building. So we have 2 bathrooms and 2 showers and a laundry room. And I was told to buy all the equipment and material for that, and I did. And all of that sits upstairs in the metal building over there, and it has since 2022, because the decision was made at some point not to move forward with that, because no one knew what was going to happen to the contract with the town dock. Were we still going to have Park Church Street dock as our town dock? If so, then that made sense to do it. If not, then why do that? So that's where we've been sitting since 2022. I have that equipment. I have all the material to do that. We just I have not been given direction to complete that. The mold remediation and abatement has been completed. The termite inspection and all of that has been completed. The HVAC will be completely replaced in about 3 weeks. we're on the schedule for the company to do that. And then after that, I have to wait to see what our plan is then. Do we do the original or the drawings that I was given to base what I bought for the 2 showers, the 2 bathrooms, and the laundry room, or do we do something else? Those plans exist, and all that we have to do at that point is to make that decision, and then I get a contract with somebody to come in and do the work. And that's about it. The biggest thing that would happen besides the HVAC being replaced is there will have to be some electrical modifications to take care of the washer or the dryer for the laundry room. And that's all the information I have. Questions?
You already.
I got a couple.
No,
Okay,
I haven't.
okay.
I haven't spoken.
Go ahead then.
Tim, that was good information. You gave the exterior is the important part, right? So that's what keeps us on the registry. No question, because I don't know. Does it matter who owns it? As long as it, and I'm not suggesting we sell it. So hold the spears. Does that matter? Who owns it?
I don't know the answer to this, and
I'm sorry?
I don't know the answer to your question. I should have looked before I came tonight, but I just didn't think about it. I'm not sure that we're allowed to sell it. I need to go back and see what documents the Schulers had when it was donated to the town.
Well, okay, so let's kind of just keep it on track a little bit. 'cause
So
we're getting a
assuming the
little
town
off track.
actually owns it, yes, it could be sold to someone. There could be an easement put on the deed, and I would encourage you to do so. It does cost money, but it has the teeth that we would need to make sure that no one would ever tear it down. Because I'm telling you, the minute you let that go, that's what they're going to want to do.
Sure. So I hear a lot, I know we want to utilize this building to enhance our ability to receive people at the dock, people that are going up and down the intercoastal, so they can come in, they do their laundry. Maybe, I've even heard that we have a little general store supplies there. You know, I disagree with that because our merchants downtown should be providing that to anybody. It's in close enough walking distance to the stores that are there. So basically, a method to maybe wash your clothes, take a shower, use the facility. That's really what we're talking about, the utilization of that, right? Now we call it a visitor center, but that sounds more like I want to say a bathhouse is not the right term, but that's about what it amounts to. Is somebody so they can get refreshed and get ready to get back on the water and go about their business. Now, having said all that, what we would do about the visitor center, you know, that we have the brochures and have somebody from the historic preservation committee and say,
Mr. Brown?
this is what we are.
I think that
this is
could
what
be
we do.
moved.
Yeah, let's bring it back in, yeah.
If I can, the plans that I was talking about where we were to do the 2 bathrooms and 2 showers and laundry room, the other side would be exactly like it is now, as it was the visitor center. The building's split in half, and there's bathroom in there now, and then there was a storage area with cabinets, and then the left side, as you're walking in from front or Water Street, is the visitor center with the brochures and somebody there to answer questions and all of that. That was not going to change. That side was not going to change. It was just the right side of the building.
I honestly feel like we could probably get away with 2 toilets, but whether we have the dock situation and the transient boaters or we just have toilets, maybe look at your merchants. It's important for them to keep it as well. I mean, they need places for people to go to the bathroom. Maybe you look at a plan to put it back on them to come up with a solution for paying for part of this, because there is no other place to put these toilets. We don't even have temporary land downtown to drag a house to that is going to be demolished. I
think this definitely calls for a bigger discussion.
Yeah, so I'm going to weigh in on this too. Did Paul want to weigh in on it, or did he have, Paul Ingram?
But before you get too carried away, okay, there is code. All right, code was made for a purpose. If things were done by code to start with, you wouldn't have the problems you have now. Okay? That's why you have inspectors, to make sure things are done properly. If things are done properly, you don't have to redo things. Okay? You want to do things one time, not twice. On a historic building, the existing building code is going to require, if it's on the historic registry. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that was a residential 1 or 2 family dwelling, correct? Okay. To make it a facility where you're going to use it for commercial use or anything like that, it's going to require an engineer design on all repairs, because the load that you have in a commercial setting is a different load that you have in a residential setting. So you have to justify the load to make it a commercial setting to support everything you want to put in there, as well as the people that's going to be in there with it. In a 1 and 2 family dwelling, you have a family. Family carries this much load. When you have a commercial setting, you have multiple people. It's a different load, okay? So whatever you do moving forward, it's going to have to require an engineer to design the entire thing, any repair done to the occupancy that you want it to be. So if you want to do bathrooms, the showers, or whatever, you're going to have to beef it up to whatever that engineer says to hold that load. Well, it wasn't designed for that load in the beginning. It was only designed for a residential family. Okay, so Joe, for example, I can't go to your house and turn it into a restaurant or a general store, because your floor system was only designed for furniture and your family. The residential home. A commercial design is designed for multiple people, countertops, accessories, and other things. So y'all got to keep that in mind before you keep going on and on and on and on. I just wanted to throw that out there.
So it sounds like we need further discussion. It sounds like nobody wants to sell the building at this time. They would like to refurbish it, but we've got to decide what we're doing with the dock and whatnot. And that determines how we want to proceed with the repairs. And depending on what repairs we do, it could be a lot more costly, I would assume.
From a budget standpoint, the board made a budget amendment of $60,000 towards this project. We have spent about 25 out of that 60. So there's about $35,000 left for us to, and we've already acquired the equipment if we're going to go that route with the transient boater setup. But we've made those purchases as far as the supplies. But if there's any design work that needs to be done, or a contractor to come finish the trimming, the drywall, the cabinets, that type of thing, we still have about 35 to work with.
So it sounds to me like everybody's in favor of keeping it and restoring it, trying to save the building. Is what I think I'm hearing from all the commissioners. You know, in my opinion, it would be a shame to lose that building, especially after someone we just recognized with the Sam Bland Award put such heart and soul into keeping that building. It kind of doesn't flow with the same thought process in my way of thinking. So, you know, there is a number of options we could do, like you said. I just want to throw something out here, and this is way out of the box. Could we move some of the town offices down there to occupy some of the space, or would that be too cost prohibitive? Or could TDA utilize it in some form or fashion to promote town tourism? You know, I don't know the ramifications of how you would go about doing that, but I'm just trying to think about things.
Yeah, no, they were doing a rotation.
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about permanently moving down there, but yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got some criteria you ought to hear at least. I think you need to hit us with like at least two proposals then. But both proposals got to have a financial impact that go out at least 5 years. In other words, how much money are we going to put into this thing? And then how does it sustain itself? Because I agree the building needs to be preserved, without a doubt. I think everyone's unanimous about that. But how can we be fiscally responsible at the same time? How do we get service out of it? How do we promote the use of public access to it? in, bathroom, showers, laundry, whatever. But how do we make it so it supports itself without being a drain on the town's finances?
Okay, so we just need to discuss it a little bit more, I believe, don't we? Is that acceptable? Jeff, do you have something? Okay. Yes, so can we just go ahead and move to continue to discuss it and figure out our options? Obviously, there's a commitment, so please, everybody, rest your minds. We're not wanting to sell it and tear it down and lose that structure. I think it can be a benefit to the town somewhere. Probably.
When Pat had her finger up first.
I'm sorry.
Are we able to use it for just bathrooms yet? So currently that is happening. But we can. Okay, so as we have further discussion, at least the bathroom is available.
Yeah. And so is it acceptable to open it up for no? So Paul's saying no.
Paul's saying no.
So we're not going to do that.
We'll have to give, John Freshwater did the original engineering on that back in '22. I guess we need to get back with him to see what it is he designed, for what purpose, and to see if that is what because obviously we had bathrooms there before. I have a feeling that's what John had, his original design was for the purpose of bathrooms and open to the public.
Okay. But you don't think he had like the showers and all that in it?
I have not seen, I know Tank's a little bit familiar with that. He did.
Okay. All right, well, let's just continue to discuss it, I guess. And
Can you?
I
can't even hear you.
Do you have enough guidance from us now to come up with at least 2 proposals?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
all right, so we can rest assured that we're not, going to make any rash decisions on that. Yes, sir. One more comment? Okay.
To further discussion, I would, literally, if I can get Jeff, I know Jeff is recently retired, right, or soon to be.
Already.
Right? Possibly that we could get with the historic committee and have a further discussion, with y'all about the visitor center, options, ideas, plans, money, all those things that all come into this. Jeff, if you'd be willing to join me on that. Kim, we can get with you and maybe set something up.
Maybe even TDA might want to give some input.
Well, we'll bring a little bit of everybody.
Yep.
Okay, Randy? Sounds good, Kim? Okay, Jeff? All right. We'll,
all right.
give you a call.
We've, moving on to, thank you, John.
Thank you.
I guess that's it. Thank you so much. So we don't have any items moved from consent. So now we're in the second session of public comment. And I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get out of here. So we got future agenda items. Thank you, Pat, for reminding me.
Thank you. Good evening. So we have a April 22nd meeting coming up where we will recognize Ms. Smith for the Military Child of the Year, and we'll have our monthly financial report. We will have a April 23rd special meeting for the UDO and the KEMA Land Use Plan Review, and that'll be at 6 p.m. Has anybody discovered any conflicts with committing to that date? Everybody's okay with it? All right, and then we have an April 29th proposed budget workshop special meeting. Did anybody have any conflicts with that? Everybody's good with that? Okay. And then for May, we'll have recognition of the basketball team and, again, monthly financial report. There may be business for those May meetings that'll come out of our April special meetings we'll be having. Did anybody have anything else they'd like to see added?
Any future agenda items? I would like to kind of get an update where we're at on the no wake zone. Is that on there yet?
The
Well, I
three,
didn't mean
no,
tonight, but
the-
that's
no,
fine.
the three no wake zone buoys, as you know, they broke free and they washed away.
Again? No,
No,
not
no,
again.
no,
I
no.
don't know.
We did order some new ones, replacements. However, in a conversation with Kathy Vinson, our CAMA expert, she asked if we had a CAMA permit to reinstall those. She did that original project for the town years ago, and that existing permit to install those no wake zone buoys has expired. As of yesterday, she made an inquiry back to coastal management to see if we can just do a replacement without getting another major CAMA permit. I do not have that answer back from her yet. That's why they're not in. We had it scheduled, and she let me know that, so we put everything on hold until we hear back from CAMA whether they're going to give us the go-ahead to do it without a permit or not. But we have everything ready to go. They have the new buoys are in, the anchor, the chains, everything's ready to go, just waiting on whether we need to get another permit.
Okay, thank you. It kind of flows into the Main Street dock too. I guess we'll get an update of that as we go along, as we get information. Yeah. That's,
I got
yes,
one.
yeah, go ahead.
Back to the conversation with the Historic Committee. I'd like to get on the agenda for the 20th of May to bring that topic back up to see what, that kind of puts us on a timeline that we do meet. We don't get it kicked down. Will you be available by then, Jeff? Will you be in retired status by 20 May?
He is.
Or you already? Oh, that's right, you already are. Okay, so just put us on a timeline for 20 May to come back to the board and have the discussion. Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
Revisiting the visitors.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Now we can move to the items moved from consent, which we don't have. And we're in the second session of public comment, and you have up to 5 minutes in the second part to make your comments. So I have Courtney Haight. Is she Courtney? Did I pronounce your last name? I did. Oh my gosh. Okay. Just state your name and address, please, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Courtney Haight, 311 Merrick Way. I'm here tonight. Good evening, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm here tonight just because I am a owner and operator of a hot dog cart, and I used to be set up over by Food Lion, the lot before the tire place was there. It's the lot beside that where the water reservoir is. I used to set up there a lot, Tuesdays and Thursdays, until I guess I was in violation of not having a permit in Swansboro. Did not know I needed a permit in Swansboro. I do now. My whole question and thoughts, and my problem really is I understand all the requirements that you guys need for me to do, which are about 19 requirements. A little steep, but I get it. I could jump through those hoops, no worries. My problem is I have direct permission of the landowner who owns that land. There's two actual areas that I set up. Mainly is the one by the Food Lion, but there's another one in front of Bamboo, I guess, that little paved area by Bamboo. He also owns that area. My issue is I can't set up anywhere because the zoning it's a problem for food vendors or any vendors in anywhere in Swansboro. You have to be a certain amount of feet from the Highway 24, which is 100 feet, no big deal, and you have to be 50 feet from a restaurant, which I would never set up by a restaurant because I don't think that's fair. However, the zoning, if I have permission from the landowner, I don't understand why I can't set up there. If I'm following all of these other guidelines and I'm not in those specific zoning areas, I don't understand why I cannot set up my hot dog cart there. I'm not a nuisance. I understand you guys trying to keep out the riffraff. Believe me, I'm no riffraff. If anything, I'm a good time, I swear. But I feel like I bring happiness to the citizens of Swansboro. I'm happy doing it, and they're happy coming to see me and getting a hot dog and a quick meal, especially for people coming in and out of Swansboro, or just my regulars that come. And I have been out going close to 2 months now that I haven't been set up, and I know that's not your problem, but it's my problem now. And I know there's bigger issues that you guys are handling, but this is a big issue for me because I am been out of the Swansboro area for over a month, and I honestly would love to
pay for the permit. That's not the issue. The issue is the zoning for me. I have permission from the landowner. I would be in all those guidelines or those requirements that you guys are expecting me to be. And I just want to know why I have to be, why is there certain reasons for the zoning areas? I don't understand the zoning, and I'm not a nuisance to you guys, really, unless somebody is complaining and complaining, then I could be a nuisance. So that's my main issue here, and I was just trying to understand the zoning and why I can't set up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, that's something we can look into. What's the name of, do you have a name of your
I
business?
do. It's,
well, let's hear it so we can get some free advertising.
No, absolutely. Come on down. CC's Wieners is what my hot dog cart is called.
Okay.
Yep, and I sell hot dogs, Sabret all-beef hot dog. I know we're in the South, but it's a northern hot dog. It's a New York style hot dog, so I don't have the red hot dogs, but I do have an all-beef hot dog, and I promise you will not be disappointed. But CC's Wieners is what the name of the hot dog cart, and I have, drinks and chips, and when I do events, I have other things like nachos and other things I bring as well. But yeah, that's mainly my main concern right now.
I'd say that is something we should be able to look into, and let's do it sooner than later so she can come back to Swansboro, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, I can jump through all those hoops that you guys have for me. That's not a problem. It's the problem that I have a property. I've been at that property. I haven't been a problem on this property. But I can't be in that property because it's not in the zone, if that makes sense. And the zoning areas they're a little difficult to get to because you have to be 100 feet from 24. And that's not a lot of areas where you can do that in Swansboro on the main drag, really. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. That's
Thank
something
you so much.
And feel free to check back with us at Town Hall or one of us. We all have cards out on the foyer.
Okay.
So you
All
can
right.
grab one and feel free to call
All
any
right,
of us.
I appreciate
anytime.
it. Thank you so much,
All right,
guys.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have Mark Francis. Would like to come up and state your name and address, please. Both of you coming at the same time?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and so that would be Mike Larson. Mike Larson and Mark Francis. Just state your name and address, please, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Both of you.
I'm Mark Francis. I'm the post commander for the American Legion right here at 650 West Corbett Avenue.
Okay, and then this gentleman,
This is Mike Larson.
you want
Mike
to talk at
Larson.
the same time or just?
I'm going to be probably the one speaking.
Okay, all right.
I
Go
live
ahead.
in Huber,
Mhm.
in Tarkiln Drive in Huber. So
Okay.
the address.
All right,
Okay. You all know American Legion.
speaking to the microphone if you would, please. Yeah,
Oh, where the diesel truck is right
Yeah,
down here.
yeah.
And how ungodly the ditches look since they put the highway in back in the 70s, the 5 lanes. Well, I've been fighting with the state Corps of Engineers for over 20 years. There was 4 of us involved in it. 2 are dead, 1's still alive, Ed Harris. We have got the plans now, the blueprints. The ditch will be filled. It will be all grass from then on. There's 5 properties involved. They're fixing everything. The state is. So there won't be no ditches down here anymore. So I just want to let people know that we are correct.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I can show you the blueprint.
Now, I remember a meeting with Mr. Barlow and John Davis and
Yes.
Anthony Prince with you one day.
Yes.
Almost a year
With
ago.
the state, yes.
And
Fought for a long
so they
time.
finally got it on
It's
their,
2027, it will be done by.
okay. And they've got funding for it?
Well, it's the state.
Yeah.
You know how they work.
Yep.
But yes, it will be done in 2027, if not before. They have approached me within the last 2 weeks. There's 5 properties involved. This time, it's not going to be where they take your property. There's going to be an easement there so they can fill this in, but they are paying everybody to do this. So I guess the fighting does pay off, years and years of it.
You say they called you?
Oh, they've been here.
Well, that's a good sign.
Oh, they come down and they're going to come to our meeting within the next 3 months with appraisers and money. So it's a good thing for Swansboro because it has looked that terrible for years. And everybody that's lived here, I've been here since the early 70s. So I know what it looked like before there was no ditches. and I looked at after they put the highway in.
So as the state progresses and as they give us more information, we would like to come and present that information to you.
That's
Keep you
great.
up to date and make sure that you're informed.
Gosh, we got something positive coming out there, so
Well,
we love hearing that.
It's always a good thing, you know,
Yeah.
if the state gets involved and they're on your side for once.
Well, I tell you, thank you so much.
Okay, thank
Yeah, and so to fill in the backstory of that, it's been going on for a while, and it's got the safety of Highway 24 is involved in it to some degree. And Wyatt Gable, our new representative, reached out a couple of weeks ago and got a list of roads, municipal and state roads. That, you know, who knows? It seems awful quick. It probably was already in the works, but you never know. You might want to give the young man credit for doing it. You never know. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for those comments. So now that concludes that segment, unless, oh, Randy, would you like to come up? Yeah. Name and address, please.
Randy Swanson, 108 West Corbett. Coming on the bathrooms, I wonder if they can segregate and just use that one side and close off the other, so maybe we can get 2 bathrooms for the season. I don't know if that's possible. I know there were some drawings that were drawn before, and I think the inspector pointed out one of the biggest things is to make sure that we address the potential for the power that's in the building. I know with my business, I've switched some water heaters over to on-demand so that I use less electric and more propane. That was one of the solutions that I had, but I'm sure, well, you all consider those options. The chamber and the TDA in the past has contributed to paying for people to man the building down there. So between the TDA and the chamber, I think that having the chamber and sources from the chamber would be absolutely a benefit. The historic, I know that you're going to meet with the historic, but that only applies to the outside of the building. The inside of the building, you can pretty much do anything, I believe. Right, Kim? The hot dog truck, we had an issue a couple of years back with the food trucks in town and where the zoning is. And we skipped over what I thought that we would come up as a solution was to make a variance for, or figure out a variance for specific situations that we try to cover with a blanket. And we can't cover everything with a blanket. There's not a generic fix-all for everything. So I think perhaps we consider in these situations with the food trucks. I have a food truck. We want a certain look in the town. We don't want riprap this or however it's put. We don't want to be Western Boulevard, but maybe having a variance or considering a variance as a solution is an option for Courtney and the hot dog truck. As with the one a few years back, my statement was mistaken as a conflict of interest or a competition for the brick and mortar. It was not that at all. It was for what the volunteers volunteered and decided as far as the different zoning and the different areas coming through town for the vision, for the look of the future. It wasn't meant to crop anybody from doing their business and to have the freedom of developing a business and working hard. It wasn't for that reason at all. So when you get situations like this, I think variances are something that should be considered if you all would. And last of all, thank you very much for a great looking dock at Moore Street. I appreciate you all on that. And really, the project looked like it came out fantastic. So appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. It was, yeah, Lisa.
Yeah, just a couple of more points. The visitor center, has anybody ever explored or considered the amount of boaters that would actually use these facilities, as opposed to our shoppers, our visitors that are down there on a daily basis? So I'm just throwing this out because I wonder how important are showers. I mean, I've been on numerous different kinds of boats, and they all had a toilet and a shower, if it's a sailboat or a yacht, that kind of thing. So how important are the showers, really? I'm not sure.
I don't know how it came up years ago, but I don't know if we need to focus on our shoppers, our visitors on the street, or our boaters that occasionally come in and anchor out of town there. So that was one of the points I wanted to mention. The other one is regarding the gun situation at Town Hall. Have we ever had an incident that's prompting the concern for having guns?
Okay. Yeah.
Chief Taylor?
It's really just a comment section right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of them. And I'm just speaking up as an educator. We can't carry guns to school, but every day we have to reinforce to the teachers, keep those doors locked. We have a resource officer that comes around and jiggles your handle. We are not able to carry guns on school campuses. I don't know. Maybe, this is much bigger than I thought. Maybe I'm living in the charming little town of Swansboro and I'm just not aware of all the violence that goes on out there. But, my uncle was chief of police here for more than 25 years. We're not a gun-toting family. So I'm just not personally accustomed and not comfortable being around guns because, accidents happen and you can read the newspaper and the news, and quite often, what happens in a family household is one of the kids gets a hold of a gun and kills a sibling. So the only exposure I have is just kind of negative. But I'm trying to keep an open mind about it, and I'm certainly concerned about our employees, but I also know this is a small town, and maybe we can try the panic button. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Okay. This will probably be the last one over here then. Okay. Because technically we should have signed up, but your name and address, please.
Yeah, Tom Redfern, 536 Sabiston. Been here 4 years. We're not here all the time. It's my first town hall meeting. I was just sitting here and I know it's the right place to bring this up. It just occurred to me that we got a real bad smell. We back up to the maintenance area there on Sabiston, and I never heard this, never felt the smell or smelled the bad smell we've had the last couple of days. So I'm sitting there thinking, I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if that's appropriate at this point, but just a bad smell. I've never seen it before in the 4 years.
And you're right adjacent to the Public Works?
Yes.
And so I guess Tank and them can just.
One house
check.
away from Fifth Street, backing up to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. And this will be the last one.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Tom Parati, 708 Meeting Park Lane. One thing I just want to talk about is growing up in a small town, I watch what happens when historic districts don't get taken care of. They wind up going away, and next thing you know, it looks like what used to be the historic district of my hometown now looks like the Roman Coliseum because they made everything bigger and did a bunch of crazy stuff, trying to make it a big city. I think what we've got down here is great. I think when it comes to the visitor center, the one thing that I would ask out of y'all is to sit down and look at it. And just like she said, in the last 2 years, I've heard this thing of let's make it a boater's paradise. Let's make it a rest area or a restroom area for people to go to. One bathroom is not going to cut that piece. 2 bathrooms really is not going to cut that piece. No matter what, the reality is we're going to have Porta Johns down there for Mullet Fest and everything else. But we can make that something better than what it is currently and make it more usable. I would ask out of y'all to sit down and just kind of put your heads together, or at least reach out to the community and ask the community to provide some input on what that thing should become, right? And if it is just going to be restrooms, I mean, right now we have asked people to put in, their applications to be board members. Why can't we have people put in applications or just ideas, have an any mouse box and they can come up and say, hey, make it this thing. And then we can sit down and look at that because I'm a firm believer all of us aren't nearly as dumb as one of us, right? And listen to what they have to say. And as we sit down, we want that thing to be 14 different things. And the reality is you're not going to make it everything. The building is too old for that. So either it's going to be a boater's paradise and we make it a boat store, or it's going to be just a restroom area and it's all restrooms. If we need to put a small museum type thing in there that's just, hey, this is what Swansboro was, and the rest of its heads were restrooms, then do so. Right? I just ask that we ask the public to please, as citizens of Swansboro, if there's something that you think should go in there, get it up to City Hall. Let them know. Let Alyssa and her team compile these things, present it to the board, and together as a community, we can turn it into something that we are proud of. And it will help the historic district out in the society. It'll help out the TVA, and it'll just make our home our home. That's all I ask.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're gonna go, you'll have time. Promise, I promise.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
All right, so John, it's your time to comment.
Couple more things I want to bring you up to date on. The dock walk project at Moore Street is complete. If you haven't had a chance to go down there, it looks really good. Tomorrow is our final walkthrough with the engineer just to make sure that it was built according to his design. We don't expect to have any issues. We might have some punch list items the contractor has to touch up, but we should be able to get our final payments done. You know, our grant deadline is the 30th of this month. Been what, 4.5 years, I think, since you got grant funding. So this project's been going on for a while, but we're finally there. I think it's going to be a great asset to the waterfront area. A really good improvement. Main Street dock, Mayor, you asked about that. You know, we did close that last month due to some concerns over its integrity. We did have a diver go down and look at it. He found that 18 of the 28 pilings are suspect, that he recommended they be replaced. So in conversation with Kathy Vincent of Coastal Planning, she, as I told you last board meeting, she was the coastal management representative that got the original grant to build that for the town back in the late 80s. She told me that, and I didn't know it, that since it was originally built with a grant, we can repair it with another grant from coastal management. So she is preparing a grant application on our behalf for repair of the existing dock. We're waiting to see whether it's going to take, we can just do it with the existing permit that we have again, or another permit is needed, so I'll get back with you on that. But it was exciting just to find out that we could reapply, since it was built with grant funds, we can use those same grant funds to make the repairs that were noted. On the same note, Riverview Park Boardwalk, about 3 years ago, the town commissioned Larian engineers to do a structural study of that boardwalk, and it found a number of maintenance issues that need to be performed, and it was never funded to make those improvements. So in conversations with Kathy again, same thing, it was built with grant funds. We're eligible to apply for those same grant funds to make repairs to that project. So we're going to submit, she's working with John Freshwater as the engineer to get us a cost estimate to submit our grant. Again, the window is pretty narrow to get our pre-applications in to see if we get invited to make a full application at the end of this month. So we're kind of on a short time frame, but I think we can get both applications in and hopefully get awarded for both grants. That's all I've got, unless you have any questions.
I don't. All right, so
Thank
now
you.
we'll go to board comments, and I'm gonna let Joe talk. You want to talk first? I'm
Boy,
sorry. I'm
all
sorry
right.
on the last.
You know, we going back to what Mr. Parati said. Pronounced right? Right. Because we had already kind of discussed that, Tim and Jeff and your group, and PDA involvement, and now I think we need the planning board involvement as well. You know, just because, like Tom had suggested, you know, let's get a lot of players involved in it so we get the most input to it. So I'm going to change that to get more people involved, but still have our report back to the board on the 20th.
Any additional comments?
That's it.
That's it. We'll let you go next, since we're down at this end.
There you go.
I'm just going to say thank you to the staff for being so welcoming. Commissioners, thank you. I look forward to working with you guys. Jim, we'll get it resolved. I'm sure we can all come to a compromise on what works best for the visitor center. Nobody wants to see it go away.
Thank you. Pat?
Congratulations, Tamara. I'm glad to have you on the board. Looking for good things to happen. Thanks, staff, for all you do. And I don't know if we have a lot of controversial things that we have so many citizens here, but I appreciate all the comments and all the people that show up for these meetings. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
First off, I'd like to have, somebody needs to go over to the park. I sent you a picture, John. I noticed a large trash buildup of tuna cans. Somebody's obviously over there feeding stray cats. It's on the far corner. If you're coming in the park, right beside High Speed Gear, make a right, like you're going to go walk all the way over to the building. First corner. As you walk that first corner, the right side of the path. Yeah, if you're walking, going down, you're walking behind High Speed Gear on our path. Go down on the first corner, right there at that corner. If somebody could look into that and possibly get that cleaned up, it's a real eyesore. Next, congratulations, Tamara, welcome, and your work's just beginning. Thank you for the employees, residents, business owners for showing up with your concerns. As you know, a lot of times it will influence. So bring your friends next time. And that's it.
Doug?
Thanks, everybody, showing up and expressing your First Amendment right. That's another inalienable right, and it's guaranteed us in our bill. And the only thing that really backs that up at the end of the day is the Second Amendment. Anybody that tells you otherwise is wrong. The first purpose of government, I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. What is the first purpose of government? The only purpose of government? To protect the rights of the individual. That's guaranteed in the Bill of Rights. That's why the Bill of Rights was actually written. Because without the Bill of Rights, you have no republic at the end of the day. Because you have no rights as an individual. So I want to express that to everybody, and I want to thank you again for showing up, and God bless you.
Okay. Yeah, I want to welcome Tamara to the board. I'm looking forward to working with you, and I want to thank the board members for being willing to work and being open to a new board member. Hopefully the citizens will take it as well, and we'll all work together because we do represent you guys, and so we're here to serve the public. I want to thank our town staff again as usual because they have done an amazing job managing the budget this past year. They were put on an extremely tight budget, and John and Sonia and Alyssa and everybody, Anna, Paul, everybody, Dwayne and Jacob, they've all done a great job managing their budgets. So that's commendable. We're going to have a tighter budget coming. Nah, it probably will. So we're getting ready to go into that process just so everybody knows we'll have a budget workshop very shortly in the next couple of months. Well, the next couple of weeks, really, next few weeks. So we've got a full plate, and we really appreciate the turnout to people coming out. It means a lot, and we can't do anything without your consent, really. I mean, so that's what it's all about, and thank you. So with that said, we'll go into a closed session, so I would need a motion. What? You
I didn't want to say, I already commented.
You were the first one, man.
I just wanted to say thank you. I forgot, and thank you for everybody coming. These meetings really are better with y'all in it. Believe me.
Yep, they are.
That's it. I'm done.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Do your thing, Bill.
All right, so.
Look, everybody's leaving.
Yeah, no, wait, we're not over yet. So we're getting ready I need a motion to enter into a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11 to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body.
So moved.
You don't want me to read the whole thing?
I thought you did.
Okay. What?
Done?
I'm done. Well, I'm not done, but I can be. Do I need to read the whole thing? No, okay. All right, so do I have a motion? Pat?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, so we're going to go into a closed session to talk about stuff with our attorney. I doubt there'll be anything to report when we come back out. You're welcome to stay and see if you want to. The live stream will continue until we come back out. So if you wanted to come online and see it and not wait, then you can do that as well. So we're going to go into closed session. Okay. All right, everybody. So we're out of closed session and there's nothing to report at this time. So if I could get a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned. And thank y'all.
Now I'll run to my car. Oh my God, it's only 8:13. How about that?